There's this moment you know too well. Someone looks at you and says, "Wow, that's amazing! You did so well!" And before their words even land, your mouth is already pushing them away. "It wasn't a big deal. Anyone could have done it. I just got lucky." You turn your own effort into a coincidence. You shrink the story before it has a chance to grow. On the outside, it sounds humble. On the inside, it feels like erasing yourself in real time. And then later, when you're alone, you replay that moment and think, "Why can't I just accept a compliment like a normal person?" You finish something hard, hit a goal, pass an exam, get a promotion, create something you actually care about. And the second you get close to feeling proud, another voice cuts in. "Relax, it's not that deep. You're not that special. Don't get ahead of yourself." So you push the feeling down. You move the finish line further away. You act like your own work is nothing, then wonder why you feel like nothing. This pattern has a name. It's not just being modest. This is what it looks like when your mind has learned to survive by downplaying your achievements. It's a form of self-protection, a quiet way of staying small so you don't become a target. It's tangled up with imposter syndrome, with fear of being seen too clearly, with deeper shame that whispers, "If they look too closely, they'll realize you don't actually deserve this." So better to minimize, better to joke, better to say, "Oh, it was nothing," before someone else says, "You're not actually that good." Inside your body, something very simple is happening. Your nervous system has linked being visible with being unsafe. Maybe your brain has its own file called standing out, and in that file are old memories. Being praised, then immediately criticized. Being celebrated one moment and compared to someone better the next. Doing well and seeing how it made someone else angry or jealous. Bringing home excitement and being told, "Don't brag, don't show off, don't make other people feel bad." Sometimes the threat wasn't physical, it was emotional. If you succeeded, a sibling got in trouble. If you did well, a parent used you as proof that everyone else was disappointing. If you shined, your friendships got weird. So your brain learned a rule. When I stand out, something bad happens. So now, even as an adult, every time you do something good and someone notices, your body reacts like there's danger in the room. Heart tightens, stomach flips. You feel exposed, like there's a spotlight on you and someone is waiting to find the flaw. Your mind steps in to protect you. "Quick, shrink yourself. Make it sound smaller. Make it sound like it doesn't matter." If you attack your own success first, no one else can use it against you. So you cut yourself down as a way of staying safe. That's not weakness, that's survival. Think about where this started for you. Maybe you were the responsible one, the one who was supposed to just do well, no questions asked. Nobody stopped to celebrate you because your success was expected. Straight A's, good job, quiet child, no trouble. If you did well, the message was, "Of course you did, that's what you're supposed to do." If you messed up, then everyone suddenly noticed. Eventually, your body learned that there is no point feeling proud. Pride doesn't get you love. It just sets you up for disappointment. So you learned to keep moving. On to the next task, the next goal, the next way to prove yourself. Or maybe you grew up in an environment where other people were fragile. If you were doing well, someone else felt threatened. If you were happy, someone else felt abandoned. So you became careful. You kept yourself small to protect other people's feelings. You learned to dim your own light so no one would accuse you of thinking you're better than them. Maybe you come from a culture or a family that worships humility but twists it into self-erasure. Don't be arrogant. Don't draw attention. Don't say nice things about yourself unless you cloak them in a joke or downgrade them at the end. So here you are, an adult who has done difficult things, who's survived complicated stories, who has earned every inch of where you're standing. And there's still a part of you that believes you have no right to own any of it. The cost of this is bigger than you think. When you downplay your success long enough, you start to believe yourself. I just got lucky. I was in the right place at the right time. They probably made a mistake picking me. It sounds harmless, but slowly it robs you. You stop seeing patterns of effort, skill, growth. You only see accidents. You don't feel genuine pride. You only feel relief when you don't fail. You take less chances because if you succeed, you'll have to deal with that painful spotlight again. You might undercharge for your work because deep down you believe you don't really deserve more. You say yes to too much because you're always trying to make up for being secretly not good enough. You let other people take the credit because part of you thinks they're probably better suited for it anyway. And people start believing the story you tell. If you act like your skills aren't a big deal, some people will treat them that way too. Opportunities pass you by because you present yourself as just helping out, not as someone who has built something real. And the saddest part is this. There's a version of you who is working so hard to become enough, while constantly tearing down every piece of evidence that you might already be closer than you think. But here's the part you don't hear enough. This is not proof that you are a fraud. This is proof that you have a very protective nervous system. Downplaying your achievements is not some random character flaw. It is a strategy you picked up to survive in environments where standing out felt dangerous. Your brain is not trying to ruin your life. It is trying to keep you safe using rules that used to make sense. You weren't born knocking your own successes down. Think about small children when they draw something or do something for the first time. They light up. Look what I did! That instinct was inside you once. Something along the way taught you to hide it. So now, when you hear yourself say, "It was nothing," that's not the voice of the real you. That's the guard at the door, the one who believes that if you grow too tall, someone will come and cut you down. So, what do you do with that? You don't have to suddenly start shouting your achievements from rooftops. You don't have to turn into someone who loves bragging or thrives on attention. You don't need to fake confidence you don't feel. You can start small, quieter than anyone will ever notice. The next time someone compliments you, notice what your body does. Notice the urge to deflect, to explain, to shrink. And just for a moment, see if you can pause. Take a breath. Let the words land for half a second longer than you usually would. If "thank you" feels impossible, try something like, "I appreciate you saying that." Short, honest, no explanation. You're not suddenly believing you're amazing. You're just not actively arguing against yourself.
That's a huge shift. Another small step: keep a private record of your wins. Not just the big, obvious ones, the small, easily forgotten ones. Times you showed up when it was hard. Times you learned something new. Times you were scared and did it anyway. Write what actually happened. No downplaying, no, it's not a big deal, no, but other people have it worse. Just the facts. I did this. It took effort. It mattered to me. You don't have to show this to anyone. This is not about proving yourself to the world. This is about slowly proving yourself to yourself. Over time, your brain starts to see a pattern it can't ignore. Maybe you are not just lucky. Maybe you are also capable. You can also practice using accurate, not arrogant language about your work. Instead of, "Oh, I just help out a little," you can say, "I manage this project," or "I designed that," or "I'm proud of how that turned out." Notice those words, proud of how that turned out. You can be proud of your effort without claiming you're better than anyone. Accuracy is not arrogance. You're simply telling the truth about what you did. And if that truth makes someone uncomfortable, that discomfort belongs to them, not you. You might not be able to change how you feel overnight. You might still get that familiar wave of panic, doubt, that urge to run away every time someone sees you. That's okay. Feeling like a fraud doesn't mean you are one. It means your history is loud. It means your body's alarm system still thinks you're that younger version of you, trying not to take up too much space in a room that didn't feel safe. But now, you have something you didn't have back then. You have more choice. You can notice the alarm, thank it for trying to protect you, and still choose to stand a little straighter. You can let yourself say, "Maybe I did do something hard. Maybe I can let myself feel a tiny bit of pride without waiting for punishment." You don't have to become a different person. You're allowed to stay soft, quiet, thoughtful. You're allowed to keep your humility. You just don't have to keep erasing yourself with it. If any of this feels heavy, or if this pattern connects to deeper pain, it's okay to get support with it. Talking to a therapist, a counselor, or a trusted person in your life can give you a safer place to explore where these rules came from and what you want instead. This video is not therapy, and it's not a diagnosis. It's just a light in the dark. A reminder that there is a reason you've been so hard on yourself, and that reason is not because you're secretly worthless. You are not broken for struggling to own your success. You are a human who learned to survive by staying small. And step by step, you're allowed to learn what it feels like to be seen more truthfully.